Meghan, open the case.
You know, for months, every time that I would mention this subject, it would be called clickbait. But now the House of Montecito's marital implosion is a Vanity Fair certified reality.
You need to apologize to me right now.
Harry and Meghan have gone through more careers faster than a trust fund baby with a My Little Pony addiction. That's right. You got The Spare and Girl Number 40 from Deal or No Deal have gone from royals to rejects, from Hollywood wannabes to Spotify grifters, from Netflix producers to flamethrowers against free speech. And recently they tried their hand at disaster tourism, and it went about as well as you'd expect.
Or is it really disturbing to see all of these celebrities using other people's pain and suffering as a photo op to say, look, I'm helping, I'm doing this, I'm doing that? I don't believe you help so that you can get attention for helping. I believe you just help because you want to.
It turns out if you only play heroes when the cameras are rolling, most people are going to start questioning your motives. Kind of like how one certain diva has been complaining for over a decade how television portrays women in the kitchen, only to have her turn around and start a cooking show that features, you guessed it, women in the kitchen.
Meghan, will you tell the story about when you wrote that letter to P&G?
I was 11 years old, about 11 years old, and I had seen a commercial on TV. You know, it said, women all over America are fighting greasy pots and pans. And the boy said, yeah, that's where women belong, in the kitchen. And at 11, I just found that infuriating. And now I am promoting a show in which I spend most of the time in the kitchen.
You just can't make this stuff up. Meghan has been telling that dish soap sob story for so long, it's almost turned into a drinking game where you take a shot every time she pretends to single-handedly end sexism. But that's just par for the course when it comes to the California couple. For years, the Meghans have become the Baghdad Bobs of Hollywood wannabes, where they go to the press and publicly declare victory. Winning is in sight, and our love is stronger than ever. Well, that bubble has been burst by Vanity Fair. The Society Bible for Hollywood studio bosses and stars just detonated an 8,000-word article like a tactical nuke. This story, which a person with knowledge confirms the broad details of, was that Meghan's team had a conversation with a publishing house to gauge interest in the idea for a potential book. The concept, for which there was no written or formal proposal, was post-divorce, not a general book on life after marital dissolution or one about Meghan's past experience. She was married to producer Trevor Engelson from 2011 to 2014. This book, this notion of a book, really might center on a post-Harry divorce. Not that there was actually one in the works, just if this a priori divorce ever came to be, would this publisher theoretically be interested in a book that took place in the aftermath? You just don't do it. You don't turn around to a publisher and go,
I love my spouse, mind, body, and soul. Well, hypothetically, if anything were to happen and we were to get divorced, would you be interested in a book, and for how much?
You know, for months, every time that I would mention this subject, it would be called clickbait. But now the House of Montecito's marital implosion is a Vanity Fair certified reality. And it comes gift wrapped with all their legal department's blessings, and it's served on a silver platter.
There's the rumor that Meghan is shopping a post-divorce book. So I asked somebody that worked at Vanity Fair, how do you get away with this, right? These are some very serious allegations. And they said that months and months of research and sourcing went into this piece, and that legal had to approve every single word, that Vanity Fair and their legal team ensured that there was nothing in here that Harry and Meghan could sue them over. I mean, these two people are so litigious.
Make no mistake about it. Vanity Fair went for the jugular. The magazine didn't just expose the last 5 years of Harry and Meghan's failed careers, their sad life, their Hollywood flameout. The magazine actually wrote the couple's professional obituary. And the article's headline says it all. American Hustle. That savage piece not only ripped off the mask, but it put in bold print what everybody's been whispering about for years. That Meghan, she's not a wife. She's Harry's reparenting specialist. Just a mommy dearest from the movies. The Montecito edition. And what their neighbors have to say with them, we have some who call them the most elite, disingenuous people on the planet, while others branded them local villains. And one resident called them hucksters, opportunists with no fresh ideas. Then you got a Spotify insider who detailed what it was like to work for the Mouth and the Menace.
And the Duchess of Sussex has found herself in hot water once again about her behaviour after Vanity Fair, who were usually on the couple's side, published a scathing report citing former Spotify staff who accused her of making them take extended breaks from work or undergo long-term therapy after working with her.
At the end of the day, your reputation is carved in stone based on your actions. It's etched in history by people that actually know you. That's why whenever someone goes on the record for a reporter writing a story, they usually tend to sugarcoat things, especially in Hollywood. That's basic survival 101. People hedge their bets because they never know if they're going to be working with someone in the future again. But now everyone's had enough, and some found the courage to cut through the crap, and they stopped playing the game.
All in all, a really, really bad week for them, and they can deny this as much as they like, but now it's written in stone, isn't it, that Meghan is pretty much a nightmare to be around if you work for her.
Think about the risk that Vanity Fair took. They went from the very same magazine that once defended the Meghans, like they took a blood oath over a midnight meal of their rescue chickens, to suddenly turning on them. What it says is that some people who once bought into the fairy tale are now selling the horror story. When you put that together with the pair's publicity playbook, which looks thinner than Harry's hairline, it only leaves you with one question. Is Meghan getting ready to jump ship, or is she waiting to cement a future book deal right before Harry figures out he's the last chapter in American Hustle?
Ouch, baby. Very ouch.
You have that Vanity Fair piece, which hit so hard it left a handprint. But then you got the hungry ego alert who tried cosplaying as Mother Meghan of Montecito by dropping off some donations at a relief center run by the Altadena girls. And guess what happened? The camera showed up. What are the odds? Now, if we want to be fair about this, maybe it was just an excited fangirl who wanted to film someone she looked up to. But there's the other possibility. Could it have been someone gave to the relief center like this wink, wink, nudge, nudge? We're going to be there to drop some items off in precisely 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 6 seconds on the dot. You decide. Who knows? Maybe the donation center actually received an anonymous case of Elizabeth Arden cream, the very same one that Princess Diana used, also the very same one that Mr. Frozen Dingaling wrote about in his book Spare that he used on his frozen royal todger. You know, the very same one that every time he used it, he thought of his mom. You never know, it could actually happen.
That is so gross.
But what really takes the cake is Harry and Meghan. Two of the most overpaid virtue signalers in history are now coming for the First Amendment. Again. That's right. You got the dollar store Duke and the dime store Duchess decided to publicly release a statement where they slammed Mark Zuckerberg for daring to uncancel free speech on Meta so he could return everything to normal and fun on Facebook and Instagram. And it was too much even for Megyn Kelly to hold back, because nothing screams democracy like a pair of entitled multimillionaires trying to silence peasants in between publicity stunts.
They issued a statement in response to Meta saying that it's getting rid of its censorship program. They want us to know that they oppose it. Why do we care what you think, girl number 40 with your suitcase? No one cares at all what you think about anything. Certainly not Facebook and its censorship program. And Prince Harry is one of the world's least favorites of the First Amendment. He's never seen a First Amendment case in which he chooses the side of free speech. So, I mean, what media organization has he not sued? In any event, I'm sick of their opinions.
Now, I save the best for last, or worse for last. It just depends on your perspective. But remember, we watched Harry spend years suing everybody, including the Sun newspaper group. The man has traveled the world swearing up and down to the heavens. He had his attorney call him a dragon slayer, saying that he is the one man on a mission, the only person who could hold the British media to account. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to be the one person who's never going to settle his case. Even as recently as before Christmas at the New York Times Deal Book Summit, Harry stated that he wants accountability, that he is going to send a message.
Even if you win in court, the amount that would be awarded to you would be less than what you could have gotten by settling.
Oh, I mean, 100 times over.
And so you think that everybody's just settled because it just doesn't make any economic sense to continue?
No, I know why people have settled. They've settled because they've had to settle.
Well, wouldn't you know, Harry dug in his high heels, slicked back his hair plug, and fought the good fight all the way to the bank. That's right. The man who stands up for the little guy in their private jets and palaces cashed out. He settled days before his case was set to go for trial for somewhere north of £10 million. Talk about a role model for the ages. Harry made the greatest sacrifice by fighting for truth, justice, and the Meghan way.
In a monumental victory today, News UK have admitted that The Sun, the flagship title for Rupert Murdoch's UK media empire, has indeed engaged in illegal practices. This represents a vindication for the hundreds of other claimants who were strong-armed into settling without being able to get to the truth of what was done to them.
It was monumental, all right. The Sun rakes in almost $400 million a year, so they tossed Harry some spare change, plus they offered him an apology. But because of that, Harry's character shone through. So now, the man who was formerly known as Prince will forever be known as what he's always been, just the spare. So talk about a monumental victory. It is time for monumental change over at the Meghan's Archwell Foundation. It is time that they change their mission statement from show up and do good to roll cameras, talk big, cash out, and repeat.
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
The good news this week is that Prince William made it just that much harder for his younger brother to win his security case and bring the entourage back to feed his ego. See, again, we've been watching Harry's spectacle for a long time now, watching him crying to his kale smoothie while telling the press publicly that they're boogeymen out to get him. Yet the real Prince just burst his bubble by showing up at a pub just loving life. By the way, that pub just happens to be in a train station that is used by more than 140,000 people a day. Yet the real Prince felt perfectly safe. Yet Harry, who was supposed to show up to the UK because of his case, refused to stay at Buckingham Palace, one of the most well-guarded residents on the planet. And his excuse? Security. Meanwhile, Princess Catherine shined when she announced to the world that her cancer was in remission.
Everybody, I will let you carry on your party.
And that is the difference between true royalty and wannabe reality TV celebs. One battles cancer with grace while turning her pain into hope for everyone around her, while the others hustle for fame all so they could sell dog biscuits and strawberry jam. At the end of the day, character is the only thing that counts. Authenticity is the only real revolution that wins every time. Anything else is just worm food for fish.
Meghan, open the case.
If you enjoyed the video and found value in it, hit subscribe, smash the like button, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Where do you think Harry and Meghan are going next? Share this video with everyone you know. And if you want to make the rules not serve them, stand tall every time you look in the mirror. All you have to remember is we're fighters with one unbreakable rule. We never bow down, we never bend the knee. Always forward.